First contact fallout. The void between Jupiter and Saturn stretched vast and empty as the UES Thunderbolt cut through space like a silver needle. Captain Maya Chen stood on the bridge, hands clasped behind her back, watching the gas giant grow larger on the main view screen. 6 months into their patrol of the outer system, and the most exciting event had been a minor solar flare disrupting communications for 30 minutes. "Captain, we're picking up something unusual," Lieutenant Kai Seto called from the sensor station. His fingers danced across holographic interfaces as data streamed in. "It's not matching any known signal patterns in our database." Chen turned, one eyebrow raised. "Natural phenomenon." "Negative," Seto replied, his voice tightening with excitement. "It's definitely artificial. Structured communication packets, but unlike anything we've seen before. And it's coming from beyond Neptune's orbit." The bridge fell silent. Humanity had explored its solar system thoroughly over the past 50 years, but had found no signs of intelligent life. The nearest exoplanet colonies were still in their infancy, mere outposts clinging to barely habitable worlds. "Origin point?" Chen asked, moving to Sato's station. "That's the strange part, Captain. It's coming from a region where there shouldn't be anything. No registered vessels, no research stations." He looked up, eyes wide. "I think it might be coming from outside our system." 2 days later, the Thunderbolt approached the coordinates of the mysterious signal, engines burning at maximum sustainable thrust. They had transmitted their findings to Earth Command and received authorization to investigate, provided they maintained strict protocols for potential first contact scenarios. "Dropping out of high velocity in 3, 2, 1, announced the helm officer. The ship's quantum drive powered down, and the stars stopped smearing across the view screen. What they found defied expectation. A massive structure hung in space before them, a latticework of dark metal and pulsing energy conduits spanning kilometers. It resembled a gate or portal, its center a swirling vortex of blues and purples. "Full scan," Chen ordered, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. Before the scans could complete, the vortex flared blindingly bright. When the light faded, a vessel hung in space where emptiness had been moments before. It dwarfed the Thunderbolt, its hull composed of sweeping organic curves that somehow conveyed both beauty and menace. No visible propulsion systems, weapons ports, or external sensors marred its perfect surface. "Unknown vessel approaching," the tactical officer reported. "No weapons signature detected, but, Captain, I've never seen energy readings like these." Chen made a decision. "Open communications on all frequencies and bandwidths. Standard greeting package." For several tense minutes, there was no response. Then the main view screen flickered, revealing a being unlike anything humanity had encountered before. It appeared vaguely humanoid, but with iridescent skin that shifted colors like oil on water. Multiple eyes, Chen counted 7, blinked independently around a central facial structure. When it spoke, its voice resonated with harmonics that made the bridge crew wince. "We are the Vril hegemony," the universal translator struggled to convert. "Your presence is noted. Your technology is primitive. Explain your intrusion into space claimed by the hegemony." Chen steeled herself. "I am Captain Maya Chen of the United Earth ship Thunderbolt. We detected your signal and came to investigate. We meant no intrusion. This solar system is humanity's home." The alien's skin flushed deep crimson. "Unrecognized claim. This star system has been marked for resource extraction. Your species was not detected in preliminary scans. An oversight. Unfortunate." Resource extraction. Chen felt cold dread settling in her stomach. This system contains 8 billion humans across multiple planets and habitats. We've been here for our entire evolutionary history. The alien's response was dismissive, irrelevant. The hegemony's need supersedes unregistered sentient presence. You will be cataloged and relocated according to hegemony protocols. That's not acceptable, Chen replied firmly. We're willing to establish diplomatic relations and discuss mutual Negotiation unsuccessful. The alien interrupted, commencing standard procedure for resistant indigenous species. The transmission cut abruptly. Moments later, the Thunderbolt's sensors screamed warnings as energy built up along the alien vessel's previously smooth hull. Evasive maneuvers. Chen shouted, weapons hot. The Thunderbolt banked hard, its point defense systems activating automatically. But they were too slow. A pulse of emerald energy lanced out, striking the human ship along its starboard side. Alarms wailed as systems failed, and hull breaches were reported across multiple decks. Return fire, Chen ordered, gripping her command chair as the ship shuddered around her. The Thunderbolt's railguns spat hypervelocity projectiles at the alien vessel, while missile tubes disgorged their deadly payloads. Most impacted harmlessly against an invisible barrier surrounding the alien ship, but a few breached its defenses, leaving small scars on its perfect hull. The alien ship responded with methodical precision, disabling the Thunderbolt's engines with surgical strikes. As the human vessel drifted, powerless, Chen made the hardest decision of her career. Activate the emergency jump drive, she commanded. Get us back to Earth. Now. The experimental quantum drive was designed for rapid retreat in extreme circumstances, untested and potentially catastrophic. But Chen saw no alternative. As the alien vessel prepared another salvo, the Thunderbolt vanished in a flash of blue-white energy, leaving only debris and a warning beacon behind. 3 weeks later, Maya Chen stood in Earth's orbital defense headquarters, her arm still in a sling from injuries sustained during their desperate escape. Before her, the combined military leadership of humanity listened as she completed her report. The alien vessel demonstrated technology centuries beyond our current capabilities, she concluded. And the Vril representative made it clear they consider our solar system their property, with humanity as an inconvenience to be removed. Admiral Hiroshi Takahashi, Supreme Commander of Earth's Defense Forces, leaned forward. Our long-range observation posts have detected multiple signals consistent with the gateway you encountered. They're building more of them. Intelligence estimates we have less than 6 months before a full invasion force arrives. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity, only recently unified after centuries of conflict, faced extinction from an enemy beyond their comprehension. Then we fight, Chen said into the silence. We've survived ice ages, plagues, world wars, and our own self-destructive tendencies. We won't surrender our home without a battle that makes these Vril remember humanity forever. Admiral Takahashi's weathered face broke into a grim smile. I was hoping you'd say that, Captain. Or should I say, Commodore Chen. He stood, gesturing for her to follow. There's something I need to show you. They took a secure elevator deep beneath the lunar surface, descending through layers of armor and security checkpoints. Finally, they emerged into a vast underground hangar that stretched for kilometers in every direction. Dominating the space was a ship unlike anything Chen had ever seen. Angular where the Vril vessel had been curved, massive where the Thunderbolt had been sleek. Its black hull absorbed light rather than reflecting it, making its true dimensions difficult to gauge. What am I looking at, Admiral? Chen asked, awed despite herself. Humanity's response to existential threats, Takahashi replied. A project we've been working on in secret for 15 years, ever since our quantum telescopes first detected evidence of advanced civilizations. We called it Project Defiance. As they approached, Chen began to appreciate the true scale of the vessel. It dwarfed the largest spacecraft humanity had ever built, stretching nearly 2 kilometers from bow to stern. Swarms of construction drones and technicians crawled across its surface, working frantically to complete their tasks. Is it operational? She asked. It will be, Takahashi answered, because it has to be. And you're going to command it. Chen stared at him in shock. Me? But you've faced them, he interrupted. You know what we're up against, and you're the only officer with direct combat experience against this enemy. Chen gazed up at the enormous warship, a mixture of dread and determination hardening into resolve in her chest. "Does this ship have a name?" she asked quietly. Admiral Takahashi followed her gaze upward, to where the vessel's name was being etched into its hull in letters 10 meters tall. "UES Defiance," he said. "Humanity's first true dreadnought. Defiance among the stars." The UES Defiance emerged from Luna's shadow like an avenging angel, its massive form eclipsing the stars behind it. On the command deck, Commodore Maya Chen surveyed her crew, the best minds and warriors Earth had to offer, chosen from every nation and colony. 6 months of accelerated training had forged them into a cohesive unit, but they remained untested in actual combat. "Status report," Chen called, her voice carrying across the bridge. "All systems nominal," her executive officer, Commander Davi Santos, responded. "Quantum drive spooling at optimal parameters. Weapons systems online and calibrated. Hephaestus defense grid at 100% capacity." Chen nodded, feeling the weight of command and of humanity's future pressing down on her shoulders. Behind the Defiance, a flotilla of Earth's remaining military vessels formed a protective screen, though Chen harbored no illusions about their chances against the Vril technology. Last transmission from Deep Space Network confirmed multiple Vril vessels entering the heliopause, Communications Officer Ling reported. Estimated time to Earth orbit, 76 hours. "Too soon," murmured Chief Engineer Kwame Okafor beside her. "The primary weapon systems are integrated, but we haven't had time for proper field tests." "The enemy won't give us time for tests, Chief," Chen replied grimly. "We'll have to adapt on the fly." She turned to address the bridge crew. "Set course for Jupiter's orbit. We'll make our stand there, away from Earth." The journey to Jupiter took 18 hours at maximum sustainable thrust. As they traveled, Chen studied everything they had learned about the Vril from their brief encounter and subsequent analysis of the debris left behind. One fact stood out. Despite their overwhelming technological advantage, the aliens seemed rigid in their tactics, predictable, even. They relied on superior firepower rather than strategy. Perhaps there was an opportunity in that. "Commodore," Santos called, interrupting her thoughts. "Long-range sensors are detecting the Vril fleet. 37 vessels, including what appears to be their flagship. It's 3 times the size of the Defiance." Tactical displays lit up across the bridge as the sensor data resolved into images. The Vril ships moved in perfect formation, a geometric pattern that suggested machine precision. "They're bypassing our outer system defenses," Tactical Officer Rashid noted with concern, heading directly for Earth. Chen studied the formation, noting the distribution of vessels. "They're confident," she observed. "No scouts, no screening elements. They don't consider us a threat." "Are they wrong?" someone muttered, too quietly to identify. Chen pretended not to hear. "Prepare main propulsion for emergency maneuvers. Load all missile tubes with quantum warheads, and bring the Prometheus cannon to standby mode." The Prometheus cannon, the Defiance's main weapon and humanity's most closely guarded secret. Theoretical until 6 months ago, it harnessed the power of artificial microscopic black holes, creating and containing them just long enough to serve as projectiles. The destructive potential was immense, if it worked. "Signal the fleet," Chen ordered. "Execute battle plan Theta." Earth's smaller vessels broke formation, accelerating toward the approaching Vril fleet from multiple vectors. They were sacrificial pieces in the larger game, meant to draw attention and create chaos while the Defiance moved into position. The Vril response was immediate and devastating. Energy weapons lashed out, cutting through Earth's ships with contemptuous ease. Within minutes, half the human fleet was disabled or destroyed. "They're not even breaking formation," Santos observed, his face pale as they watched the slaughter unfold. "Just swatting our ships aside while continuing toward Earth." "That changes now," Chen replied. "Helm, full power to engines. Set collision course with the Vril flagship." Startled glances passed between the officers, but they obeyed without question. The massive dreadnought surged forward, its engines pushing to maximum output. "Open a channel to all remaining Earth vessels," Chen ordered. "Authentication code Omega-6 Delta." When the connection was established, she spoke clearly and calmly. "All vessels, this is Commodore Chen aboard Defiance. Deploy solar mirrors and stand by for encoded targeting data." During the 6 months of frantic preparation, Earth's scientists had developed one potential advantage: the ability to use the sun itself as a weapon. Each surviving ship carried massive reflective arrays that could redirect and focus solar radiation when properly aligned. "The Vril are finally responding to our approach," Tactical reported. "Their formation is breaking up. 3 capital ships moving to intercept." "Hold course," Chen commanded. "Engineering, divert all power from non-essential systems to forward shields." The distance between the Defiance and the Vril fleet closed rapidly. Energy weapons lanced out from the alien vessels, striking the human dreadnought's reinforced shields. Alarms blared as power fluctuations cascaded through the ship's systems. "Shields at 60% and dropping," Santos reported. "Direct impact imminent in 30 seconds." Chen's fingers tightened on her command chair. "Prepare defensive countermeasures." "On my mark." She waited until the Vril ships committed fully to their attack vector. "Execute emergency protocol Icarus." The Defiance's hull suddenly gleamed with blinding intensity as thousands of microscopic panels flipped, transforming the dark, light-absorbing surface into a perfect mirror. Simultaneously, the Earth vessels deployed their solar arrays in a carefully orchestrated pattern. The result was spectacular: concentrated solar energy, amplified and precisely directed, struck the Vril vessels from multiple angles. Their shields, calibrated to defend against conventional weapons, failed catastrophically under the assault of focused stellar radiation. "Direct hit on 2 Vril capital ships," Tactical announced, unable to keep the excitement from his voice. "Their shields are fluctuating." "Now," Chen ordered, "full emergency stop and rotate to firing position. Bring the Prometheus cannon online." The Defiance shuddered as its massive engines reversed thrust, bringing the dreadnought to a relative halt in space. Its weapon systems pivoted, targeting the momentarily vulnerable Vril flagship. Prometheus cannon charged and locked on target. "Weapons officer Zhu reported. Ready to fire on your command." Chen hesitated for a fraction of a second, aware that she was about to unleash a weapon of unprecedented power, one that might change the nature of warfare forever. "Fire," she said quietly. A strange silence fell over the bridge as the Prometheus cannon activated. There was no visible beam, no dramatic explosion, just a momentary distortion in space as the artificial micro-black hole was created, accelerated, and launched toward the Vril flagship. The effect, when it came, was both subtle and devastating. The black hole passed through the Vril vessel's weakened shields as if they didn't exist, then through the hull itself. As it traveled, it devoured matter from the inside out, creating a perfect circular hole through the massive ship before dissipating. For a moment, nothing happened. Then secondary explosions bloomed along the wound track as atmospheric pressure and energy containment systems failed catastrophically. The Vril flagship began to break apart, splitting along structural stress lines. "Direct hit," Santos breathed. "Target critically damaged." The remaining Vril vessels paused their advance, seemingly confused by the unprecedented attack. It was all the opportunity Chen needed. "All vessels, concentrate fire on the damaged sections of their fleet," she ordered. "Engineering, prepare the Prometheus cannon for repeated firing sequence." What followed was 20 minutes of carefully coordinated chaos. The Defiance fired its main weapon twice more, disabling 2 additional Vril capital ships. Earth's smaller vessels darted between the larger alien craft, exploiting the gaps in their formation to deliver precision strikes against vulnerable systems. When the Vril finally regrouped, almost a third of their fleet had been destroyed or disabled, an outcome that clearly had not featured in their calculations. "They're retreating," Tactical announced with disbelief as the alien vessels began to withdraw, accelerating back toward the outer system. A ragged cheer went up from the bridge crew, quickly silenced by Chen's raised hand. "Don't celebrate yet," she cautioned. "They're not defeated, just reassessing. Track their course." Sure enough, the Vril fleet wasn't heading back to deep space. Instead, they established a holding position near Saturn, maintaining formation but making no further aggressive moves. "They're transmitting," communications reported suddenly. Same frequency as before. The main view screen activated, revealing a Vril commander. This one appeared different from the first contact, larger with skin that pulsed with deep blues and violets rather than reds. "Human vessels," the translator converted. "You have demonstrated unexpected capabilities. The extraction initiative is temporarily suspended pending reassessment." Chen stood, facing the alien directly. "This system and its inhabitants are under our protection. Any further aggression will be met with the full force of our capabilities." The Vril commander's multiple eyes blinked in an unsettling pattern. "Your species warrants further study. We had not anticipated your level of adaptability or your willingness to develop experimental weapons technologies." "Humanity has always excelled at finding ways to survive," Chen replied. "We prefer peace, but we will fight with everything we have when threatened." "So noted," the alien responded. "We propose a cessation of hostilities while the Hegemony Council evaluates your species' status. You will be contacted with their decision." The transmission ended abruptly, leaving the bridge in silence. Slowly, Santos turned to Chen. "Do you think they'll be back?" he asked quietly. Chen gazed at the tactical display, where the Vril fleet maintained its position at the edge of the solar system. "Without question," she answered. "But next time, we'll be ready." She turned to address the entire bridge. "And we won't be facing them alone. Send word to all our colonies and outposts. Priority 1 message. It's time for humanity to truly unite and take our place among the stars." As the Defiance turned back toward Earth, Chen allowed herself a small smile. Humanity had faced its first true extraterrestrial threat and survived. Not just survived, but demonstrated their worth to a vastly more advanced civilization. The road ahead would be difficult, fraught with diplomatic and military challenges unlike any they had faced before. But they had earned themselves time, and in that time, humanity would do what it had always done best: adapt, innovate, and prepare. The silence that had gripped the stars had been shattered, not by alien conquest, but by humanity's defiant roar.